From Connecticut's news leader, this is NBC Connecticut News at 5.
Richard Blumenthal regrets and Susan Bysiewicz is unqualified. Double-barreled political bombshells this afternoon. The state Supreme Court delivered the shocker declaring the Secretary of the State does not meet the qualifications to run for Attorney General. And U.S. Senate candidate Richard Blumenthal, surrounded by veterans, told reporters today that he misspoke when he said he served in Vietnam. He said he meant to say he served in the Marine Reserve during Vietnam instead of in Vietnam. Joining us to dissect a crazy political day is Kevin Rennie. He's current columnist whose blog Daily Ructions broke the news that Linda McMahon's campaign was behind the New York Times article, and political consultant Patrick Scully of Scully Communications. Gentlemen, let's begin with Dick Blumenthal's regret. Why did he refuse to say, Kevin, sorry, or I apologize?
I think because he's in a great big mess, and I think he's afraid to make it worse. And he's made the decision that really being straightforward about this would make it worse. When in fact, I think that today was his chance to really make this a shorter, smaller issue than it is going to become. And he chose not to do that. I don't know why. This is almost a crazy situation of these repeated embellishments, and then to surround himself with a wall of veterans today at a press conference was really bizarre.
Patrick Scully, should Dick Blumenthal have just said I screwed up?
Well, Jerry, you know, I always think that actions speak louder than words, misspoken or not. And Dick Blumenthal, for 2 decades plus now, has been the most voracious advocate for veterans in this state that the state has ever seen. And there's a reason why the veterans were surrounding him today, because he's their guy. He's the guy that's been backing them up all through. And, you know, back on March 1st, there was a Senate debate. And during that debate, Dick Blumenthal said, I didn't serve in Vietnam. So if he was supposedly hoisting this charade on everyone, why'd he come right out and say I didn't do it?
Pat,
when you live by the spoken word, you get yourself in trouble sometimes.
Pat, how's he going to come out of this?
I think he'll be fine eventually, because people will see that he is the best qualified person for this job. His record is crystal clear on this and other issues. Dick Blumenthal goes to the Senate.
All right, Kevin, you blogged today that Blumenthal's candidacy is dead, that Ned Lamont should step in. You stick by that after seeing his performance today?
I do. In fact, I was surprised. I thought he might have a chance to put in a life-reviving performance, and he could revivify his candidacy, but he didn't. He really was grim, avoided the issue at hand, and you know, it just doesn't matter what his stand on other issues like, you know, other veterans issues. That's not important. What matters is the chief civil law enforcement of the state of Connecticut hasn't been telling the truth about, you know, something quite fundamental. Whether or not he was in Vietnam, you know that. And
Jerry, I think it's
and you know, and today there's a follow-up in the New York Times with an interview with Chris Shays, who says he saw this developing over years of participating in events with his friend Dick Blumenthal, and he was very disturbed by it.
Kevin, we're running short on time. Patrick, go ahead.
Well, I think we're in a bad spot if where he is on issues doesn't matter. I mean, that's kind of scary in and of itself, and Chris Shays, a Republican. Everybody's jumping on board. We hear that Linda McMahon's campaign was the one that gave this, Kevin, you wrote that yourself. Linda McMahon? Really? The closest she's been to the military is Sergeant Slaughter.
All right, guys, we got less than 30 seconds. Susan Bysiewicz out, according to the Supreme Court. What's next there? Pat, go ahead.
Well, I think that, as you know, Susan Bysiewicz is one of the most tenacious politicians in the state. If there's a way on the ballot, she'll find it. Fortunately for the Democrats, there's a fine, well-qualified candidate that's running as well in George Jepsen, the former Senate Majority Leader. So, fortunately for the Democrats, we don't have to fight to keep Republicans off the ballot. We'll take it to the ballot and the voters, and I think George Jepsen is ready to run, and Bysiewicz may, in fact, still try. Who knows?
Kevin, you get the last word.
You know, Susan Bysiewicz sued herself, and today she lost. She lost decisively. She's done. It's good news for Connecticut.
Current columnist, attorney, blogger Kevin Rennie, political consultant Pat Scully, Scully Communications, thank you both for your insight and analysis.
Thanks, Jerry.
Coming up next.